This is a 6-month review of Ninja's brand new one lid wonder, as I call it, or they refer to it as a smart lid. But if you've owned Ninja Foodies before that were pressure cookers and air fryers, as this is, they normally have two lids. They normally have a lid for pressure cooking and a lid for air frying. Well, with this new device, they did away with that. They only have one lid, and it air fries and pressure cooks. It steams. It's steam crisp. That's another new thing it does. It's a really neat device that I have found many uses for, and I think it works really, really well. And I think it's one of the best kitchen devices. Well, it is, if you ask me, the best kitchen device on the market. And I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or fashion, by the way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in a few videos of the things I've been doing with it and what I've found works well. And then at the end, I'll go over a little, in more detail at the end of the video after I show, I think it's 4 or 5 recipes I'm putting in. The first one is a pork loin, a center cut pork loin. And you'll see it's a bone-in. You'll see just how well it does it and the other ones too. It's really neat. Only one lid. This one actually has a thermometer and it'll pressure cook with it. That's as they say, game changer if you ask me. And it's the only one on the market with it. Let's get it started. Okay, somewhat of a little impromptu video, no tripod, so bear with the movement. Pork loin center rib roast. And it's 4.17 pounds. I'm going to use the steam and crisp directions for a pork loin right here out of their book that came with the Ninja one lid wonder, I call it, the smart lid. I'm about to get that thermometer in there and get it set up to the temp I decide on, and we're going to get it started. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here's what it looks like in the pot, and I'm using the top rack of the deluxe dual rack system, if you know what I mean, and I've got it set to the low position, and I've got the thermometer in pretty much where I think would be the center of the roast. I've got 1 cup of water, because I'll tell you what they said right here, and I'm changing this because it says pork loin. They say no water. Well, that wouldn't be steaming crisp to me. I'm going to use the rest of their directions, their temps and all, which is 360. And that's what I'm about to do. And because I don't have a tripod, I'm not going to try and do that. I don't think. You know what? Let's do it. It's on steam and crisp. I'm going to take it down to 360. And I'm going to go to manual. If I can get it to go to manual. There it goes. And I'm going to take the temp to 150. That's good for me, and we'll see how it looks. If I need to, I'll add time. Be back. The USDA says 145 is a good temp, so I'm pulling it because I just peeked at it and it is dark, but not bad. Don't get me wrong. I guarantee you it'll be fine. We're about to find out. All right, right there's what it looks like, right fresh out of the pot. You can see I put a cup of water in there, so I don't know why they would say no water, but they did. And we're going to let it rest a few minutes and cut it up. Here is the rested maybe 8 minutes, but here's what we got as far as temp. 155, 154, that's the low as I saw, and as I said, USDA says 145 is safe, and honestly, that's usually what I take it to. Sometimes people are not crazy about the pink you get in a roast, but in a pork roast, but it doesn't bother me. There's a ball game going on tonight, so we're fixing. I'm trying to get this cut up and get it out on the thing, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm just about to cut this. I'm going to pull this out, and we're going to cut it right down the middle to start with, right between these two ribs right here, and let y'all see what it looks like. And then I'll come back in a little bit and tell you what it tasted like, but that looks pretty much as perfect as I know how to get one. I got a little shadow on it, but you see, it looks good. And by the way, all that's on that is Lawry's and black pepper. So we got to get back to, I'm going to cut that up and we're going to try it, but we got to get back to this Georgia-Alabama game. I'll say this, that right there is what I tried. You can see what's left. We're going to eat the rest of it at some point, but let me say, that temperature is what everyone should shoot for. That's my opinion. A lot of people try and go to 165. There is nothing wrong with that. It is very moist and excellent pork, where I've tried to eat stuff like this before that was so dry you couldn't eat it. Pulled it at 145. It may have got to 155, and that's perfect. Anyhow, See y'all soon. Okay, just to kind of bring you up to speed to what's going on one of the things, or the top things I do in this device, the one lid Ninja. I've got some pork jowl. It says it's sliced bacon, but it was not. I had to slice it myself, but I'm rendering the fat out, and I've got some cabbage and a few other things that's going in. But here's my point. When you start frying bacon or whatever, if you're trying to do, say, the cabbage I'm doing, a steamed, fried cabbage meal I'm doing, this is better than a skillet. And that's because of these high sides. I mean, I've got a lid I'm going to put on there also. But if it gets to splattering, you got a lot more sides than you do with a skillet. And I think it works just as good for that type cooking as it does for other things. But anyhow, I'll kind of show you what it looks like. I'm just trying to show a few things I think this device, and any Ninja, honestly, any Ninja multi-cooker like this. But this has been my favorite by far. But anyhow, I'll show you the end result. Okay, and also, just for the record, you can see it's set on level 3, and it's been there for 22 minutes. Here is what you could expect for level 3. Right at 300 degrees. I saw it at 305 just right before I started the video. So, around 300 degrees on 3, and I think it goes from 1 to 5 levels, but that's on the sear saute, of course. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but that's what I'm set to here. Perfect, like I said, perfect for rendering or frying bacon or anything, or hog jowl. Okay, just to show you, I've had it on number 4 for like 2.5 minutes. I don't want my pork jowl crispy, so I'm not going to leave it there, but there gives you an idea. I wish that light wasn't right. Anyhow, 400 degrees or so, and that's right in the center. So 400 degrees at number 4. So I'm not sure what 5 is, and I'm probably not going there, but I would suspect it's probably 500, but don't know that. There's my lid. I'm going to put it on and let those go just a few more minutes, but I don't want it crispy. I kind of want it like it is. So, okay, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. I won't be able to stir it, but you can see how well that works. I mean, it just does. It works perfect. You fry it in there, then you steam it or whatever. That's not steam. I'm still using nothing but my sear and saute. I did put maybe a shot glass of water in there, but just, well, again, you can see how well it looks. It's doing excellent. I'm going to chop up that hog jowl, just kind of dice it up a little bit. I've already got some butter on it. I mean, just you see what you get the idea of what I'm doing there, and it works really, really well. And this will replace things in your kitchen. It's not just an air fryer and a pressure cooker. It's a stovetop, but Okay, I couldn't help but to show this right quick. This is what I did with the rest of that cabbage right quick. I pretty much did it all on setting number 3. There is what I did with that Spam. I cut it into chunks this size right here, and I put that in there first. That's just how I do it, and let it kind of sear off on the sides and brown up. And then I put a little bit of olive oil and a half an onion, and then there's the other half of that head of cabbage. And I'm going to have some of this cornbread here with it, which is excellent. I ate a piece. I'm about to dump this back in there. It makes one of the best meals. Well, it makes a really good meal to me. I was craving cabbage and different stuff, so I mean, I like sausage with it. I do, but every once in a while I want something different, and that works. And you know why that right there looks so good? It's because it is, and I'm telling you, it works. I wanted to throw in right quick. I did throw in a couple of pieces of butter, just a little bit of butter, but like I said, olive oil. I didn't put anything now when I browned out. I just cut it up and cut it into those cubes and let it do that. Just kind of slick up syrup on the edges. But anyhow, now you know. Okay, so bear with that noise over there just a minute, because I'm actually doing a test on some frozen Grand biscuits that I'm going to share with you as soon as I get temps and times figured out on the steam and bake on that. But right now, here's what I froze 3 months ago, a pot roast. Exactly 3 months ago today. Here it is. Whoops. And I can see I probably got it a little full. It's probably going to run over in here, but no big deal, because we're about to steam that and hopefully make it just as good as it was the day I put it in there. Now, I will say it kind of stuck to that, and I did the same trick I did in another video I got somewhere, where I used my sponge and put hot water on it and just kind of made that turn loose where I didn't have to leave any paper there. But long story short, here it is. Cup and a half of water. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to set this in there. I'm going to set this to steam. That goes all the way to there. This stays open. I'm going to go on steam, and I'm going to say 15 minutes for that. So we're about to see how that does, and I'll see y'all shortly. Okay, so the timer just started. So for the record, and just so you'll know, it took it about 15, well actually about 16 minutes, because it was probably 30 seconds after I started this before I started that timer. So 16 minutes for it to get the time, and now we're counting on letting the 15 minutes count down. All right, I tried to do this on camera, but I kind of messed it up and it was not going to make sense. But you can see we're at 35 minutes. I noticed no steam was coming out, and I opened it up, and it was out of water. So what I did was I added 2 cups of water, and I'll just show you right quick where you can see what it looks like, because I did this a while ago, and we're somewhere around 90 degrees or so if I stab that meat. Well, that is a little hot there, 100 degrees. 96, 95 degrees right there, and that's probably in the thickest part of that meat. But I'm gonna get the lid back down, and it's still calling itself preheating. It hasn't got back to the steam temp it's looking for. But the main thing is we're at 35 minutes, and that's not bad for a piece of meat to be from your freezer in 35 minutes to around 100 degrees. But we're gonna get it all the way up to about 145 or so. But be back. Okay, so I will say this. I think adding water after the unit is hot kind of messes up its programming. You can see, and you can do the math, it's somewhere around probably, I don't know, 15 minutes at least. Well, there it goes finally. It's finally starting to count down, and it took it 15 minutes to get back there, and I know that's not right. But my point, it's been steaming, if you can see that, it's been steaming like this the whole time. So it doesn't matter if the timer's running or not. All I'm trying to do is get this to around 145 or so. But I kind of had the same thing happen over there with those biscuits. So we're going to take a temp read right now, and let's just see what we've got. Oh, we're there. See, 150. So it didn't matter that the time was running or not. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's 151. That's plenty good for me to eat. So 50 minutes from the freezer to here, and that's from something that I cooked 3 months ago that most likely most people, or I normally would have maybe thrown away. But now that I have this, I probably won't. I think it's a really good device for this kind of stuff. So I'm gonna get that out of there, get it in here, and those biscuits I'm a little suspicious of because they have taken a long time. But I'm going to show you the others anyhow. I'll be back. I'm gonna get that out of there. Okay, I'm gonna do this on camera because I'm not really sure how it's going to go, but my intention is for most of this to end up in there. But you could see a while ago it is a little bit overfilled, but so far so good. And I'm gonna do that right there, and hopefully that right there. And there we go, instant roast beef from the freezer to the table with some biscuits that look really good, and I got a feeling they will be in under an hour. So, and the biscuits were like 20 minutes. Well, you know what? We didn't look. It's 141. So if you remember, I think it was, I don't remember. I'll have to look back. But whatever time it was when we put those biscuits in, again, I'm not sure. The unit was almost cool, but not completely. That may have affected it. But I'm going to kind of get this laid out a little bit better and get it on a plate, and we're going to see what it tastes like. Okay, here it is, under an hour, and from the freezer to your table, and something that would have possibly been thrown away. I'm not saying I would have, but I have before, as bad as I hate to say it. But here's the biscuits, and here you go. Here's what they sound like. And here's what they look like. They got a good crispy-like crust, And I think the steam on the biscuits works very well. I've already ate several, or, or I've cooked them. That's the third time. And I've been tasting them along the way, and everything about it's been good. I'm not sure, it's not, in my opinion, it's better than just an oven. So I'm going to cut this up. This, you know what a pot roast looks like, but, whoops, knocked the potato off. But there it is. And it's pretty warm. But you can see what it, I've always said pot roasts are better the second day anyhow. Well, this is 3 months. And excellent, absolutely excellent. I'll say it, it was as good, it's as good as when I put it in there. Absolutely nothing wrong with it, anyhow. I don't even know how I'm going to do any of this video. I'm not sure how I'm going to put it in one, or if I'm going to make one from this or add it to something, but anyhow. Okay, so right quick, I want to show this too. This is the hamburgers I have shown in one of my other videos that I cut from a chub, and then I freeze them at this thickness, or the thickness I like, which is that, and they work really, really well. I've got them in on a steam and crisp function, and I set them for 15 minutes at 375, and there are 2 hamburgers in there and 1 cup of water. So I'm about to show you. Now, I did flip them at the 10-minute mark, but I'm about to show you, how they turn out and how I eat them a lot. I do it more than I probably should, but anyhow. Now, okay, so here we're coming up on the end of the 15 minutes, which I normally just let them run. And like I said, I do flip them at the 10-minute mark, and it seems to work really well. We're about to do a temp check, and you adjust your times to what you want, but let's see what they look like. And they don't look bad. They don't look bad at all. That's the way they always look. They do have some of the the stuff on them, but you'll see in a minute. They're not, and they're 140, maybe, 140. Let's see what this one is. This one right here is a little higher. So if you wanted to, you could obviously, add time, pull this one out, and add a little time to that one. I'm not sure why one gets done better than the other, but not a big deal. It's no crisis. They're really, really good hamburgers. I'm going to flip that one, and I'm going to let it go a little bit longer, although I promise you, I'm not sure I would if I were not videoing, but just to kind of let you know, and then I'll pick, stuff like that. I might pick that off of there. It's not a big deal. But anyhow, we're going to let that one go just a little bit longer. Maybe, let's see, it'll go back to what I had, which was 390, and no, it didn't, because I did 375, and I did 15 minutes. And I'm just going to hit start, because I'm going to stand right here, and in just a minute, I'm going to pull that one out, but you'll see. Okay, so I might as well just say, here's what I normally do. I eat one of them, usually, although I have put a little salt, once they thaw out, when I flip them at the 10-minute mark, I put salt on both sides. And then sometimes I put it out here, but I love salt. And then one of them I normally eat with just salt. And then sometimes, or almost always on the second one, or somewhere along the way, I put A1. But I like A1 sauce. So, I'm just going to let that run just a minute longer, and then try and give you an idea on the temp. But it probably needs another minute, so I'll cut the camera off. All right, I kind of can't stand it anymore. I'll be honest with you. I don't always go for 165. I'm not saying you shouldn't, or 150, or whatever it is they call for. Maybe I'm shooting for 150 most of the time. And you can see how fast that one went up from where we were. As a matter of fact, we have overshot that one just a little bit. But if I were not videoing, honestly, I would have pulled this one out at the same time. And yeah, it may have been a little redder in the center, but nothing drastic. And you can see there's a little bit of that kind of stuff on it. But you tell me. That's around 20 minutes, I guess you'd say, total time. From a frozen hamburger that's as good as anything that I get at restaurants. And we'll cut this one because it's been sitting here a minute. and kind of give you an idea what it looks like. And there you go. As a matter of fact, I'll do it with my hand. That's the one. I don't remember what the temps were, but nothing wrong with it. That's my point. And you could pull them earlier. Whatever degree of doneness you like, it just takes a couple of times to figure out where you need to be. A frozen hamburger now, again, that ain't no patty. That's a hamburger, and I love them, and I eat them way more than I should. But anyhow, now you know. There you go. Okay, and as promised, at the end of the video, which that's what this is, I did want to point out some of my pros and cons, which there's not a lot of cons, but I got it turned to where you can see the only one that I really have a problem with is this. It comes out of there real easy, and when you're moving it around, it will just fall out. Even if you make sure it's in there good, sometimes it wants to fall out. And with the one lid design, a lot of water gets here, which drains. You can see what I'm talking about. Drains right here, which ends up in that cup. Way more than the 2 lid, but it's by no means a deal killer. You just have to kind of keep it in mind. And, you know, maybe we want to secure it better, because if there's water in it, it falls out on your counter. No big deal. Let's see if there's anything I want to kind of point out. I bought this one. I'll just cut it. Leave that off. I've had them both around I've had one for at least 6 months, maybe 7, and one about 5 months. Let's see. I don't like the cup. I got that in there. I would not even buy this one. I personally wouldn't. This is one of the biggest features of this device. It is that thermometer, and especially for pressure cooking. There's nothing else on the market that'll do it. And pressure cooking, you really need that. I'm using it tomorrow. Tomorrow morning when I go to church, I'm putting another ham in here. I've done this before. I've got a video on a ham, but this one I'm doing a sliced ham this time, kind of as a test. Don't know how it's going to turn out, but I don't have to worry about overcooking it, because I'm going to put that thermometer in it, and it will cut it off when it hits my 150, 160, whatever. It's a spiral cut ham, so it is a test. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but they'll eat it. I guarantee you. Let's see. I'll just try and kind of read it. Love the looks on the counter. I do. I think it looks good. It seems to air fry as well as any other air fryer, other than the drawer type. I do like a drawer. If I was just going to air fry all the time, maybe I would just have a drawer type, but this does that. Again, you make your own mind up. I might have both. I might put a drawer type air fryer and this. Let's see. Everyday's items compared to drawer style, not excellent. Let's see. He said, but excellent at air frying, pressure cooking, thermometer, and steaming. And that thermometer you can use for pressure cooking. You can use it for other things in here. It doesn't do everything, but it'll steam and crisp. It does a lot of things, but you just slide this to whatever feature you're wanting to use, which that's the pressure cook, which that means it's locked down and you can pressure cook in it, and you can use the thermometer, and that's the thing I almost forgot. You can program it to release the pressure automatically. That is another great big deal. You can do it after you set it up. If you say you want 10 minutes worth of natural release, then release, well, you just put that in there and it will do it. Or you can have it to quick release, and I could go on and on. Or you can set it to where it just doesn't release, obviously. But you can time the release. You've got a thermometer. I don't know what else you could ask for as far as being automatic. This is pretty much as automatic as they get. All right, let's see. The stovetop function. A lot of people, you can do this with any Ninja. A lot of people don't appreciate it as much, or maybe not. But you can use the saute feature, as I did with the hog jowl in the video, or bacon or anything. You put it in here. Well, you got a way higher lid. You know, if you've ever fried bacon in a skillet, it gets all over your oven and all over your stovetop. Well, you know, some may get out of here, but nothing nothing like a skillet. So that's my point there. I'm gonna kind of go on to something else. Sous vide. I would not use it for sous vide. I did test it a little bit. I haven't done a recipe in it, but I tested it enough to know. But I've already learned that this is not. They shouldn't put sous vide on these type devices. That's my opinion. If you want a sous vide, buy a circulator. Buy an Anova. I've got one. I've got videos on it. And I'm not saying some of them don't do real well. It's just, I think if you're going to sous vide, I guess you could test sous vide in this type stuff, but I'll get off of that. If you want to sous vide, I recommend a circulator. Let's see, the slow cook. It seems to work as good as my slow cooker, and you got one device that's on your counter already. I don't see why you would need another. The slow cook feature has worked in, and again, that's in all of the Ninjas that I've tested. None of them were no problems with any of them. Let's see, bake and the bake roast. You can bake just like in an oven, and it's just like when you close that lid, it's just a little bitty oven. And when you tell it to air fry, it's a super duper oven with a lot of airflow, or like a convection oven, just a super convection oven, and you can use it as just a normal oven that's not convection, that with no airflow. Let's see, steam and bake from frozen. Another great, the steam and bake feature is almost as important as some of those others, because you can take frozen food and steam it a little while and then bake it, and like the pot roast I did, you just steam it straight from frozen, and I think it's I've done more stuff from my freezer since I got this than any time in history. Let's see, breads and cakes. If you see my video, one of the first ones I did an apple bread in it. Unbelievable! It was absolutely excellent, and it really is good. And the steam, a lot of ovens or high-end ovens or bakeries have steam in their oven, and that's why, because it bakes better. Let's see, frozen wings. Now, let's see, tomorrow is that big game they have on the football. And I promise you, I bought frozen wings now, not because I needed to. I bought frozen wings because I personally think frozen wings turn out better. That's just my opinion. I steam and fry, or do a steam crisp recipe right here. I put it right here. Me and Baby Doll did it the other night. I took 3 pounds of wings. She cooked, I think it was 8 wings she did first. And then I did the rest of the bag, which was probably, I don't know, 10 wings. I don't know how many that added up to, but it was a 3-pound bag. We cooked them at 2 different separate times. And I did, I want to say 375. I'll have a video on this before long, but I did 375, I'm pretty sure, for 25 minutes on the ones I did, which was about, I don't know, she did 6 wings. I think I did 12 or 15. They were as good, and it's not the first ones I've done. I'm not going to say I would rather have it. Well, I must, because I went and bought frozen wings tonight. I'm doing frozen wings tomorrow instead of fresh wings. There was no reason for me to buy fresh wings, because I think this does just as good from a frozen wing, straight out of your freezer. Don't even thaw them. Put them in here. Put them in here. I used this both times, and I did the 375 for 25 minutes with the ones I did, and I think they're excellent. And I know I didn't turn this into a longer video than I meant, but my point is, this is the greatest thing, as I said before about their first Ninja, the greatest thing since a microwave in the kitchen. It really is, and this right here makes it a big deal. This right here with the automatic stuff makes it a big deal. And I'll say it again. I've already said it once. I am not sponsored in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I pay for everything that you see on my videos out of my pocket. Ninja did come to me one time and wanted me to, whatever you call it, affiliate with them, whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. They offered it to me, and I just refused it out of my own personal feelings. I just did. I don't know why. Maybe it was dumb, but I did that anyhow. And my point is, I have not even had a conversation with them since then. That was a year and a half ago. I don't know why I'm getting on that. It's just that, and I'm not against anybody that does. I don't know. Again, I could get long on it, but I'm just trying to let y'all know where I'm at, because it's a great device. I think it will be as handy for anybody I've ever met that does a lot of cooking that would use this type of device. I can't recommend anything more. But I love a regular air fryer too, so I guess I could go on and on. Hey, I love y'all. Y'all come back to see me and get you one of these if you think so. Watch my videos if you want to. That's the only way I'll make money. It's when y'all watch my videos, because nobody else is paying me. And if somebody else comes out with something better, it'll be sitting right here. But anyhow, hey, I love y'all. Come back to see me. Bye-bye.